So you've probably heard about the current debate in DC about the future of federal funding for public media. You might be wondering, what does that mean for the programs and services you rely on? And before we get into that, let's discuss how this federal funding structure came to be. Federal support for public media originally started in the late 60s with the Public Broadcasting Act, which established the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. But CPB isn't actually a government agency, it's a nonprofit. Consider them the caretakers of this money. They're then given the charge to distribute these funds to public media stations across the country at varying amounts. And it's important to note here that while NPR and PBS do receive CPB funding, they're independent of each other, and they're not the only ones. In fact, 70% of CPB funding goes directly to more than 1,500 locally owned and operated public television and radio stations across the country. So where does all that money go? Well, when we think about public media, we often talk about it in terms of trustworthy news and access to arts, entertainment, and culture, and lifelong learning through documentaries that challenge our view of the world. But did you also know that when people in North Carolina needed emergency updates after Hurricane Helene destroyed networks, it was public media that provided life-saving information? When a teacher in Decatur needs an engaging way to build math skills in her first grade class, it's PBS Learning Media that provides thousands of sound options. When you learn the extraordinary family history behind a successful local candy shop, it's public media that shares these important stories about your friends and your neighbors. I can keep going, but let's get back to what we're here to talk about. Here at Illinois Public Media, about 20% of our budget comes from these federal funds. At our station, this money serves as the very backbone of nearly everything we do. And there's a lot of questions about what it would mean for us if this goes away. What we do know is that losing this money will severely hinder our ability to operate at the level we have been now. At the end of the day, cutting this funding means cutting the ways we're able to serve you, our community. I'll leave you with these two things to consider. First, in our current media landscape, there is no other outlet making it its mission to provide low-cost, commercial-free, local, and nonprofit services to its communities, from rural to urban, from wealthy to underserved Americans. Second, historically, public media has received bipartisan support, and we hope that continues moving forward. If you have opinions about the future of federal funding for public media, you can contact your local congresspeople and sign up for updates at protectmypublicmedia.org.